Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm really excited about it. We're at Corbin's shop and we're doing a bow build. And I'm also really excited about this because that means I get to give away my old bow to one of you guys. So stay tuned for that video. That should be the next one. But today we're building a Prima, which is also what I used to have, but the new bows that Matthews came out with don't have a long enough draw length for me. So we're doing another Prima. And we got a granite, right? That's the color.
Got granite.
And I'm doing some like purple and orange strings. It's gonna be very colorful, very cool. And Corbin is like the best bow shop guy ever, so we're gonna crank it out.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Crank it out, shoot some arrows, and maybe shoot a pig with it tonight.
But bear with me because I'm super exhausted because she made me hunt pigs till 2 a.m.
He's cranky today. All right, let's do it.
We got the Prima. The main thing about it and the new bows between it and it's like so your phase 4s and stuff is it only has the ability to integrate the rest. They didn't add the ability to integrate a sight bar or anything, which would be really cool. So we will do an integrated rest. We'll run an HHA bar with an ultra view scope on it, I'm assuming, and then stabilizers we'll figure out. But the first thing we're gonna do is take these unserved end loops off and run these strings, which the first string I ordered for her, we did the wrong color, but this one looks really sick.
My draw length is 25 inches. It's currently at 24 and a half, so we have to swap the mods so that it is the right draw length. So that's step number 1.
If you have really crappy old strings, I wouldn't worry about it, but if you're taking off brand new strings, which most of our customers do, keep the old strings as a backup so if you're on a hunt and it breaks, you can usually find somebody with a press somehow and get those strings flop back on so you're not out the hunt. So if you do this on your own and you don't have help to do it, like I do one string at a time. Pull up just so I kind of know, and you can check your timing. That's your timing mark. So if it's off, we'll make adjustments until it's perfect.
Every year Corbin wants me to get really bright colors and I usually don't.
She usually gets like boring fuddy-duddy colors.
That's not true, but I've never done like a twist like that though.
It looks good.
So I like that. Probably should pay attention to this because I've never actually changed strings.
One string at a time, one end at a time. That's how you do it. Unless, I mean, you'll get to the point where you don't have to do that, but that's the way to not mess up.
Yeah.
Gosh, these strings are... And the arrows actually kind of match these.
Oh, imagine that. It's like I built them that way or something.
That's the one thing is the colors between all these companies are so much different. Making sure that those timing marks we talked about earlier are on, but that does not mean that the cams are 100% dead on. Even if those are, we're going to use an actual draw board once we have a D-loop on it to check that and see we're off here. And so I've got to pull the cam back in this direction.
So how do you do that? Like you physically move the cam?
You're gonna twist cables.
Oh.
So if I twist this cable, it's gonna pull. I went the wrong direction, but if I twist this cable, if you made this shorter.
So it's like pulling it.
Yeah, it's gonna pull the cam in that direction.
Oh, ow. Okay, I see.
So now we're dead on. Maybe a smidge off, but we'll adjust that on the...
Yeah.
So we'll adjust that also with the draw board in here. It's more accurate. That gives you on all Matthews, they have like either a hole or a lineup spot there. And that's a good place to start. So now we'll put your rest on. Get one of your awesome looking arrows.
Okay.
We'll put this down at Kaitlyn's hot, real short. Ideally, when you're burning a end loop, you can roll it and it'll make a beautiful little ball. Or you can just do this and burn it down and slap it with the end of your... Doesn't hurt anything, just make sure you don't get it on the actual D-loop. Blow it out and then press it down and makes a fat mushroom on there and you're good to go. And once we tighten that, that's not going to come loose from there. I rarely am going to use an actual arrow level, but you can use these as an arrow level if you need to. You can put them on there and use them as your arrow level. I use these more on sights than I do actually on the arrow. On Matthews, I run through the burger hole, which gives me a really good starting point. So our bow's level. We're going to take our D-loop and our knocking point on a QAD. I'm going to be slightly knock high, which is essentially what you did with your knocking point. And if you look, you're level through your burger hole.
Yep.
And the bow's level. That's where I like to take it. I may take yours up just a smidge. If you're running a smaller diameter arrow, it needs to be in the absolute center, which that pretty much is. And also, if you get behind this, you can tell your arrow's already kicked to the left.
I think my other one was doing that too. Yeah, for sure.
On the phase 4, this rest would sit up center shot of normal, like dead on, right there at the 0. You cover the 0. We're gonna go 2 clips to the left.
Yeah, I think I had to do that.
Or to the right, sorry. Yours is like maybe a click over the 0. That's the thing about running a micro adjust rest, is you can really fine tune it, and we'll do that when we do our paper tune and everything. Take it easy! We'll use that as a good starting point. The good thing on her bow right now is she's shooting a 2022 and this is a 2023. So the setup's gonna be much easier than like if we ever put her in a different bow. We'll be starting from scratch, finding everything where we want it. But we're gonna take her, even our Peep height, I can actually take her old bow and we'll put it in the Hooter shooter. We'll draw it back and get a measurement from the Peep to the arrow, and that will allow us to do the exact same measurement on this current bow for her Peep height. Should be pretty fast. A lot of people, if your bow is ever set up with the football that comes with these, it's not set up right. You can also take these and serve them down. I have found no reason to serve this in below the serving that's already on the strings. We like to take these and take a knot. And on these Primas, you got to be careful and make sure their knot gets small enough that you're not hitting that cable to cause drag as it comes through. But we'll take a knot, and let's say you're on an elk hunt and you're running and you got a bull bugling, or let's say you're chasing a turkey and you're sprinting and you get caught on something. You can rip this through the branch or whatever it's on if you're in a hurry, and it will not pull through your cable. It won't pull through here. So that's the only reason I do that. It's not, you can just cut it and burn it, but I tie the knot because we've seen the burns pull through. So we'll tie a knot and then we'll burn.
pretty high likelihood that I get caught on something too.
I mean, I do all the time, and that's why we do it. It's not everybody does everything the same. I haven't had an issue in 16 years of doing this, so we just kind of keep doing. We learn new techniques, but there's certain things I just have tried new techniques, and they don't work as well as our old school methods. So I'm burning that down. Make sure we don't get over the string. Collapse the burn. And I'm not quite, you have to get that down to the knot. So I'm not quite there yet. I'll just keep burning until we get down there. And ideally, when you're doing this for the D-loop, like we talked about, this is how you do the D-loop. You barely heat it up and let it. But I'm burning a lot more material there. So now we're all the way down there. Turn the cable to black, but now we're got a burn knot. It's not going to pull through. I mean, it will not pull through. You'll break the cable. So that's how we tie that on. Just going to recheck, make sure our timing's on the rest. So there's a little bitty draw stop that comes on here. You heard a little click. When we put that on, that'll stop the cable from making that noise. It'll sit over on that. Cable looks good. Now we can burn this off here. I got a little bit short. Well, I actually have to cut it.
How often you go through lighters?
I don't know. That may be 2-3 months old.
You have a nice collection there.
Yeah. Well, the issue is that you run off and put them in your pocket when you're working with somebody. Or customer puts them in their pocket trying to help us to move it to another area, and they walk out. But we go through a lot of lighters. And usually, if I had my knife that you gave me, that wouldn't have taken that long. This just looks freaking good. And we're just mushrooming that out so that it doesn't pull through. There's a set screw in there, and then just burning the end where it's pretty clean. On some bows, on these QADs, you got to be careful because this is really close to the riser, and if there's too much sticking out, it'll catch. On the Prima, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to catch anything. Let's put the draw stop back on, and then we will go start running through paper. And then the last thing to do is measure the peep. Once that's all in there, and we're going to put felt on. So you've got to push those down on these integrates first, and then you can fold it and they'll stick better. Then once you have one side on, because you want these facing out, you take a lighter and you heat that sucker up, and it activates that glue a little bit better, and it will stick very well. I'm trying to get it inside.
I should have done that on my other one.
It helps a lot.
Do now is paper tune, which is essentially making sure that the arrow is flying straight from the bow. And we'll kind of go through it and show you guys if it is off, which I don't know, there's a chance it's going to be off, but you want a bullet hole basically.
But it's hard when somebody's short.
I'm short.
I don't know.
No, not that short. Like, oh, I see, because of the back. Should I get a chair?
Can you shoot level right here?
Right there. I'll be hitting like the bottom, like right above the gray probably.
Good. Yeah.
I can aim high.
Just like right here. And lower.
Tell me where. Because I don't have like a sight or nothing.
Looks good. Your knock point went in here, and you got a low left tear. So we're going to adjust our height first, and then we'll work with our left right. Just about there.
It's really close.
So we are.
Still a little.
Crap, it's really hard to tell.
Knock low.
Yeah, little knock left and
Left.
low. There's your field point. I mean, we're just about there.
Really close, yeah.
Fantastic. If you're getting tears when you're pretty much center sided with your rest that are like massive, change your arrow spine. Like everybody tries to use top hats and all this other crap to adjust bows, which is okay to an extent. But when you have massive tears and you're on a center shot, you need to go look at your arrow spine.
Yeah. Which, this is basically the same setup that I'm already shooting, so we kind of have that to our advantage. Like, this is the same arrow that I shot last year out of the other one, so.
I don't know why that moved down. Maybe I didn't time it. Facing the field point right now with the rest, it does not like, everybody thinks there's like a set rule for some of this. I've had bows that you had to move the rest the opposite, and it could be like, let's say from the factory you have a limb deflection that's a little bit off, and that's what's doing it. And so you got to line up when you start having to do opposite of what's standard. You have to take the limbs and start flopping them and doing other stuff to make sure your deflections are the same. But right now we're just moving the rest over. And if you don't know what to do, make a click one way or the other and see what it changes. Did it make your tear get worse or better? So we're going in, which we knew when we put this rest on that it was too far to the left. The first thing that we discussed.
Yeah.
And her old one, it was about where we just now got it. I just figured it had to be a little bit closer, but this is going to be really similar and right down the center of the bow. It is really standard what you do, but you may have to make some changes. And if your arrow spine is wrong, again, that's the most important thing. Her spine's dead on, there's no doubt. With a 25-inch draw length, 50-pound bow, she's shooting a 500 spine axis with 125 grains up front, 25 outsert and 100 grain dip.
Yeah, what he said.
Move this way just a smidge. That should be good.
Am I good height-wise?
You look wonderful.
Not quite. It's close.
Better than this one.
Yeah.
Better. It did move over. So we're gonna make another click over. Gosh, that one was really freaking good right there.
Right there?
That's good.
I was on my tippy toes, how to shoot fast. Gosh, it's like the same spot.
It's not freaking budging. So we're paper tuning her bow, and any adjustment we made would not make it where we could get it perfect in terms of adjusting the rest. And so on these, we went crazy. I made a whole lot of adjustment the opposite direction to make sure it would actually rip bad. And we started getting those bad tears. Height wasn't an issue. So anytime you have a Matthews and you're really close to center shot and you're making small adjustments and it will not change, you can go in and you can adjust your top hats. And it's pretty simple. You move the direction of the rip. And so we just moved our cams over to the tear. And I'm gonna move this back to center shot, left and right, and we'll put a whole new sheet of paper on. But we wanted to show you, like, there will be times that you've got a bow that you've got to do something different than what's normal. Now, if she had ripped, let me see this real quick. Do you mind? Would you switch me there? If it had ripped, like if we had a field point come in straight, this may not straight, but then throw a rip across like this, there's a couple of things I'm going to look at first. Our height was okay. But I would think that our rest wasn't dropping or our spine was absolutely terrible. And so we would make an adjustment with, because you're not going to tear that out with a rest adjustment. Ideally, we're going to get it really close like these. And then we can make small adjustments with our rest. But like on hers, it wasn't adjusting, so we know it's a top hat issue. We need to actually move the cams over. And what's what we're going to do now? Put a new piece of paper on and test it. We just flipped them.
So essentially, you're just swapping them, right?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of. They make different ones. They make thinner and thicker and mediums.
And you're going to move it in the direction of the tear.
Of the tear.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Keeping it simple.
Oh man, I'm weak. Right there.
Yes, ma'am. That looks great. Huh.
Look at that bullet hole.
And we get it. We were gonna
Pretty
make
close anyway.
really close. We were way better than we were. We're gonna make a click, and we'll be there. Perfect.
Yeah.
Done.
Money.
So if everything is right on the bow, it should take about that much time if you set it up right. But we had an issue with our top hats, and it took us adjusting like you saw previously to get this in 2 shots. And it is frustrating. So we're just going to full draw. We're going to measure from her Peep. I'm going to actually go from about center of her Peep down to her arrow, top of her arrow. And then we'll take and we'll put the other bow in here, do the same thing. Maybe. And move the Peep in the same location. We're not put, yeah, we'll put that on next, but I'm just gonna go take this out.
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about
Yeah,
it
you're
on
good.
camera. Okay, so we're gonna swap out the Peep sight from my old bow onto the new one. I want to keep the same one, just because it fits the housing of the UV3, which is a little bit smaller than this, like most standard housings for your sight. So I'm just trying to keep everything the same because I know it's like a good setup for me. And then we'll just probably swap out a different Peep, just like a standard one for whoever's gonna get the bow. I have not shot since November, so we'll see. Does it matter which target I shoot at? I think it's a hair low.
Okay, let down. It seemed like it was going to be split low, but I couldn't quite tell.
I mean, like really close. It's pretty close. Or I hit.
Well,
It was holding for a little while too.
there could just be some slight adjustments of where the rest is centered compared to the other bow, and that would be it. Like your sight tape, you can have to adjust at home, but like if you can get dialed into 20,
Good enough, yeah.
good enough. Your left and right looks good.
So for my Peep, what I'm doing is obviously I'm trying to make a group to make sure that I'm like shooting where I want to shoot, but like a little trick that I learned is like if you close your eyes and then you open them, like get yourself set and then you open your eyes, and if you're looking through your peep, it should be good. If not, then you kind of know where to adjust it if you have to move it up or down. I feel like it's a touch high now, or I mean low. So I'm like kind of leaning into it.
Shoot, we'll just slide her up.
You want me to shoot?
Yeah. You're nearly Robin Hood. And we'll fix the turn in it. Try that. See if you feel more relaxed in the shot. The peep's gonna spin just a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like it spins till you shoot like 100 arrows.
It should bring your shot up. Stop moving that peep. Gosh, that bow is timed.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yep. Where you went right that time, you're pretty centered. The time before, your height came up a lot. I'm gonna put these in before we're done shooting. Timing is freaking dead on.
Oh, I'm not sure which of these is my first shot, but one of these was my first shot and second shot. And then we adjusted my peep, and this is my last shot. So you can tell there's quite a difference, and it really does matter. Just because you want to make sure everything's in line, and if it's off a little bit, it can really adjust your shot. We're still obviously getting it sighted in, so it's not a big deal, but if you're trying to figure out like maybe your shot's just not where you want it, peep's a good place to start. All right, you guys, we wrapped up the bow build. I think it was really fun.
It's awesome too.
Really appreciate Corbin doing this. It's really cool, and I honestly think it turned out really slick. I love the colors. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like them, but I think they turned out really good with the granite bow. And I am super excited to use this year. It's very similar to my setup last year, so I really don't think there's gonna be any issues, and I think I'll be able to kill some stuff with it, which would be really cool.
And maybe something tonight.
Maybe even tonight. We're gonna take this out. Actually, like right now, we're gonna go get ready and hopefully shoot some pigs, which is obviously always fun. And I've never shot one with a bow, so that'd be just like a cool way to break her in, you know?
Mm-hmm,
so, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.